tuning in today, everyone. I just want to let you know my book is out and available on Amazon and Barnes& Noble. The name is Parents, Our Greatest Teachers. And now, back to our episode. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Alex Valgun, and this is Leap of Health. And today, I'm super excited. I've been super excited about this topic for a while now, and I'm so excited to have you today. We have Heather Shepard. She's a homeopathic practitioner. She's also a natural healer and ancestral food chef, which is super, super cool. Thank you for being here today.
Oh man, Alex, my pleasure. I'm excited to talk to you about this and with your audience.
Thank you, thank you. But before we dive into this whole sun and light, and it's a healing, it's not healing, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to this point.
Oh wow. Okay, I'll try to condense it. So let's see. Basically, up until the point I was about 23 years old, I was an athlete myself in college and played Division One basketball, and then after college went on to train professional athletes and um, uh, put together nutrition plans for them. And when I was 23, I was on my way to work one day and I was driving down the road, lost control of my car, no idea. Couldn't tell you what happened. Just
Mm-hmm.
lost control, hit a telephone pole, split it in two, and hit my head pretty bad on I think, steering wheel. So I was knocked unconscious. And after that point, I did all the MRIs and the CAT scans and all that. And oh yeah, there's clear, you're good to go, no sweat, go back doing your thing, go back to training athletes and being physical. And I literally couldn't. I had headaches and migraines and dizziness, and it was a really intense experience. So I had a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, and it was a minor one, but it still was incapacitating and actually caused me to quit my job. I literally couldn't do it anymore. And it completely shifted my life from this athletic world into the healing world. And from there, I went to acupuncture school and Chinese medicine school and studied classical homeopathy, and basically went down this 10-year track of studying and self-growth and healing. And how do because I couldn't figure out how to heal this thing. I tried so many modalities, and I just came up short after time and time again. And so I started using homeopathy, which was literally one of the has been one of the biggest, most helpful, effective modalities for healing the brain injury. And then, one day, it was probably what, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, 8, 10 years ago, I started to learn about sunlight. And it was this thing I heard on a podcast. Don't even ask me which one. I have no idea at this point in time. It was way back when. And somebody mentioned light and sunlight being healthy for the brain and serotonin production and sleep. And I was like, oh man, I kind of struggle with that since my brain injury. I was like, all right, I'll try it. I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, yeah, I need to go outside more. I need to be, away from my computer more. So why not? And I'm telling you, I started watching the sunrise, and I'd go out there just naked as a baby in the sunrise, and I'd stand there and I'd be 30 minutes, an hour. And day one, I was like, okay, yeah, that was nice. It was nice to be outside for that long. But the days kept coming day after day, and I kept doing it, and my sleep improved, and my energy improved, and my headaches went away, and I was no longer getting headaches in the sun. And it was this huge transformation, very unexpected, but this was kind of like the final piece, I like to say, when it came to healing my brain injury in conjunction with homeopathy. So I started to feel feel a lot better when I added this piece to my healing regimen. And at the time I was just practicing nutrition, so I was helping clients healing with food and nutrition, and I started just like, hey, telling all my clients like try this with sunlight. And I laid out this protocol that I'd been trying for a while and had been helping me. And my wife was blown away. She's like, "What? I can't believe this is from sunlight." She started joining me, getting the benefits as well. My clients started benefiting. I said, "I got to get this thing out there. Like this is kind of insane. It's basically free medicine for everyone." So that has led me to add sunlight to my daily life. Been every day I watch the sunrise for years now, and also teach my clients how to use sun to heal. And really everyone. I wrote an ebook on it, the Sunlight RX, which is on my site, and it takes you through the 4-step protocol that I put together. I was like, just do these steps, and you will see some kind of improvement no matter what you struggle with. And we can talk a little bit about that, I'm sure, throughout the episode. But I think that's as succinct I can be. That's kind of where I got to where I am today with regard to healing and using sunlight as healing for myself and my clients.
That's amazing. And I mean, it's something so easy, like right there every day.
Yeah,
Like just go and do it, right?
yeah,
But even though as simple as it sounds,
right.
you know, like you'll be surprised of how many people don't see the light of
Yeah,
the day. I mean, I know time.
yeah,
Sometimes they go to work super early, it's dark. They come back when it's maybe dark, maybe when it's summer, the days are longer and they maybe catch the sunset, maybe while they're driving, but the whole day they were not exposed to the sunlight. They were exposed to all these artificial light. And I think it's just cool to say it over and over because people are so unaware of that simple thing of like, hey, you went outside to get some sun, like today, and probably nobody has, because we're so
yeah,
busy on the computer or at home or whatever. So
yeah,
this is really, really cool. Tell us a little bit about the 4 steps that you mentioned earlier. What is how can anyone that's listening can like do some of these
yeah.
steps?
Literally anybody. I mean, honestly, if you live in London or Alaska or these higher latitudes that tend not to get as much sun, the sun still comes out, and of course it's going to be stronger at certain times of the year. But literally wherever you live, you can benefit from this practice. And you're absolutely right that our lives have been structured around indoor lifestyles and the computer. And honestly, when I first started to recognize this disconnect that I was having from nature and being in front of my computer, um, I had to restructure my whole work schedule and life to be able to get outside more, because it was more healing than pretty much anything else that I had tried, any modality. Um, but the reason being is because of the physiological impacts that sunlight has on the body. So when
Mhm.
I first started to use sunlight, I was like, this is working so well, and I have a mind where I want to learn why it's working. And so I
Mhm.
started to dive deeper, and I'm like, okay, why is this? What's going on here on a physiological level? What's happening? And so step one of the Sunlight RX is it starts at sunrise. And as I started to read about this and learn about this back then, I learned that this combination of red and blue light is present at sunrise, and that combination is a really important light spectrum for your eyes, particularly to see, because it stops the release of melatonin from the anterior pituitary gland. And
Mhm.
melatonin is the hormone, the chemical that we want to be released during nighttime so we can heal, so we can regenerate, etc.
Mhm.
But we need to be able to press pause on melatonin release, so then we can flip the switch and go to cortisol release during the daytime, during waking hours, so we have energy. If we were just releasing melatonin all day, we would be like, you know, raccoons, to be sleeping, nocturnal animals, So, so just by getting up and watching the sunrise, you will do heaps of good for your hormone health because you'll flip one of the most important switches here, which is from melatonin to cortisol, because blue light stimulates this release of cortisol. Um, and it's important though that we get that cortisol release from sunrise versus like looking at your iPhone first thing in the morning, because the iPhone screen, all screens, all devices are blue light, unless you know how to biohack that, which is easy. But if you don't, you're looking at blue light all day, and that is going to really um, expedite the amount of cortisol that's released from your anterior pituitary gland, and it's going to cause you to be in a state of fight or flight, and it'll drive inflammation over time, long term. It has all these really intense health effects. But just by watching the sunrise, which is step one of the Sunlight RX, you make this huge transition physiologically and hormonally speaking when you pause melatonin, and then here comes the cortisol starting to trickle out into the bloodstream. This is like the most basic thing anybody who has a hormone imbalance, blood sugar issues, a metabolic balance, just to do that one thing, it will make a huge difference. So that's one of the benefits of step one sunrise. You have this combination of red and blue light that really helps to support cortisol release and reduce inflammation levels, and absolutely huge. It's like better than coffee. You'll get to this point where you'll watch the sunrise and you'll just be able to feel in your body that something just happened, where I suddenly feel like more energy and more awake. And that's when you know the cortisol has really, flooded into your bloodstream. So step one is all about that, really. And, step two is a little bit later in the morning. It involves UVA light. And the thing about the Sunlight RX, because I think it's important to talk about some of the misconceptions around sun, because a lot of us think, oh, we'll just go outside and the sun is good for us. We're starting to see that now. A lot of people still fear the sun, but more and more people are like, I think that's a good idea. I'm hearing that's a good idea. And they'll just go out whenever. And while I don't ever want to discourage anybody from going outside, the more closely you can get in each one of these steps, they in chronological order, the next one builds upon the next. So it like prepares your body to be able to achieve all of these physiological effects that I'm mentioning here. So when you're in sunrise, it preps your body to be able to absorb UVA light when that comes in later in the morning. And if you can do that, you will pump out melatonin. Your melatonin will be recycled. You'll produce more serotonin, more dopamine, and even thyroid hormone just by being in morning sunlight. So step two teaches people how to do that. I know melatonin is known as the nighttime hormone, and we absolutely release it at night, but a lot of people are addicted to melatonin supplements today because they can't sleep. They struggle with sleep. And what is really unknown so far is that if you just get in UVA light, you'll recycle and replenish your melatonin store so you can sleep better at night. It's like building up this reservoir during the day and during the morning. And that reservoir, once sunset happens, it starts to be released. So step two is really teaching people about that. Step three is the most feared step by our culture, society, really by our world, which is teaches people how to utilize UVB light. That's the light that most people want to put on sunscreen and block, and they're afraid of. Really interestingly, the longer you're in sunrise light, with obviously with your skin exposed, the less you will burn in UVB light. It's like a natural sunscreen. It's like prepping your skin to absorb the UVB light that comes in the afternoon. Um, and this is a really important distinction because a lot of people think that it's bad, but we really have to put the UVB light in context. It's actually not the light that's bad. There's a lot of health properties to UVB light when we first prep the body with some of these other light forms.
Mm-hmm.
So UVB light is huge. Step 3 walks people how to do that. It talks about blood sugar regulation. Like, so many people today have issues with carbohydrates and digesting them. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're not talking about like Krispy Kreme donuts and crap like that, but stuff like people can't even eat seasonal fruit anymore, or something nature, some carbohydrate nature provided. And one reason, of course there's many, but one is that we're not getting enough UVB light, because UVB light really helps to deplete glucose from the liver, helps to regulate blood sugar. It's huge in terms of metabolic health and blood sugar regulation. Um, let alone you replenish your vitamin D storage levels. So it's really, really important for those reasons. Um, and then lastly, step 4 is sunset. And this is this other really big transition in the day when you go from releasing cortisol to now you watch the sunset and it's getting darker and your body starts preparing to pause cortisol release and then flip the switch to melatonin release so you can sleep and heal and regenerate when you're sleeping. So that was the Sunlight RX in like a little synopsis of it.
Yeah, no, that's super great. I mean, and it's great information. I love that you mentioned all the 4 steps, and I think are super easy for people to kind of like follow. And also, when you're working with clients, do you have them uh go on shorts, t-shirts, or like the more skin the better?
Yes,
How
good question.
how do you send your clients to get the maximal exposure to the sun healing properties?
So the gold standard is to get as much skin exposed as you can. So that's the goal. A lot of people have neighbors that wouldn't fly very well. So if you can wear, shorts, a sports bra, bikini top, get as much skin exposed as possible. So, and while you're not going to get arrested, for being nude outside your home in like New York City or something, right? So that's what I recommend. And there's different dosages, and the dosages actually um, range from what's your health condition. Do you have a chronic condition? Are you in more of this like preventative stage and just need some support? And so the duration for how long you're in sunlight, especially when you're just starting the Sunlight RX, can vary depending on what you're personally dealing with. So typically, a preventative dose, if you can be outside for even 10 or 20 minutes in each of those spectrums, that's awesome. And if you have a lot of healing to do, I would go further out from that. Honestly, you can't really overdo it unless it's the middle of summer and you live in a super hot place, and the UV index and the UVB light is super strong. Whereas your body will tell you, it'll give you signals, you'll overheat. There's times of the year where you literally just can't be out for that long in the afternoon sun. But really the key to the whole thing is the morning sunrise. And even with your work schedule, if that's all you can do, that's a great place to start. Like, don't just throw in the bag, if you can't do the whole thing perfectly. at least watch the sunrise before you go to work or start your work day. That'll be really huge, and get as much skin exposed as possible.
Yeah, that's great. I know I was talking to um someone else that mentioned like if you can just, you know, even like wake up when there's the sunrise, and if you're like definitely too tired, just kind of like go back and take like another small nap or something, but at least you get the benefits from the sunrise. Will that actually make a difference?
Just waking up with the sunrise?
Yeah, like just, like, I'm super tired, but I really want to get the benefits from the sunrise. I'm gonna go out there for like, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then I'll come back and take another nap.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of people like that, and um if you're unable to stay up at that time, it's a sign that your circadian biology, your body's own physiological time clock is a little bit out of sync from lifestyle stuff, or eating late at night. Your hormones are a little imbalanced. It can cause night shift working, staying up late to
Hmm.
watch Netflix, which is like night shift working. So same thing. It's gonna have the same
Yeah.
effect. Um, you can wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about getting out of bed right now. But if you can at least start to break that cycle by getting up and watching the sunrise, and maybe increasing that a little bit, the amount of time you're out there every day or week, eventually you'll get in this place where you'll retrain your circadian biology to, be in a place where, hey, you probably won't have to go back to bed. So I think even if that's where you are, absolutely start there, and set some goal, like push yourself a little bit to extend the amount of time you're out there. um I would even, recommend, if possible, if you need to fall back asleep, to have a little sleeping bed in your backyard or like something, and like fall asleep under the
Under the
sunrise.
sun.
Like, I know it's not possible all year round, but that, you know, could be ideal. And I have some people who literally, they don't have a place to go out to watch the sunrise, but even if you open the window and look through the screen, if that's where you start, that's a good place to start.
Hmm. I love that. I think we have so many possibilities to just start and do something.
Yeah.
And you did mention the night shift. I know a few people that I actually know with Netflix, of course. I think we just like overdo with Netflix for no reason. But I'm talking about the actual people that has a job. Like their job is like, it's a night shift. So obviously they go into work at, I don't know, what is it, 8 9 p.m., and they leave work at, what is it, 5 in the morning. Like, I don't know the
Yeah,
exact hours for the night shift,
yeah.
but like in those cases, I mean, the ideal situation will be to not work the night shift. However, that's, someone has to work the night shift for many many jobs, right? That's
Mm.
why we're here, because there's nurses that work at the time. Like, I mean, there's so many people that it's important for just everyone to work at the time. And how does this will work with someone that, you know goes and work, and it's almost impossible to like literally wake up and see the sunlight? I mean, what will be the alternative for those? Because it will kind of suck. Like, I gotta go to work. I can't be waking up. For whoever is listening to this, they're probably like, look, I'm a bouncer at the club,
Yeah.
and I come home every in the morning at 6 or whatever. What
Yeah.
are those alternatives? Because I'm sure everybody wants to get some sort of this health benefit.
So I'm gonna be 100% honest. This, if somebody, usually before somebody, reaches out and says, hey, Heather, I want to work with you, we'll talk about a little bit what's going on and what their situation is. if anybody mentions that they're a night shift worker, and this is just me personally, I I gently and nicely tell them that if there's not a plan in place to get a different job that's during the daytime, I honestly cannot help you.
Mhm.
Because in it, I know the answer might shock you, and of course there's some things that these individuals can do, but literally humans are, our physiology, our hormones are all hardwired to the cycles of night and day. And
Mhm.
when we reverse that, it's like we break every single law of nature that we're designed to operate by. And so I'm not being like an asshole or something from by telling people I can't work with you if that,
Yeah.
it's because I literally don't want you to waste your money working with me on because this is a huge block to healing.
Mhm.
So I would put, even on their days off or something, I would um try to watch the sunrise. But see, I've had clients who have done night shift work and they're not doing it currently, and they'll reach out and they'll say, hey, I want to work with you. They're one of the toughest clients to work with, meaning it takes years to get their circadian biology back on point, and the health issues they struggle with are big health struggles.
Mhm.
And so from a health standpoint, because I'm in this work to help people get better, I will put a plan in place and work with them to try to, okay, how can we get you in a different position? Um, so let's just say you're a night shift worker now and that's like not possible. For one, I would try to, if you can, make all the lights in your workspace red. That's one thing I would try to do. Of course, that's not always possible, but you know, or try to be outside in the darkness, like, because the more that the artificial light is on you, it's giving your body a mixed signal, so it doesn't even know it's nighttime. It thinks it's, noon, right? Because of the brightness of those lights. So, one, I would try to make the lights red. If you can't do that, I would wear red lenses, blue blockers when you're working. And
Mhm.
I'll warn you, you probably will get tired, like, because your body's not going to release as much cortisol if you have a red lens on or you're in red light. So you're probably not going to do that good of a job. You'll probably be tired and not super productive. So that's like just, warning, fair warning there. But um if you can watch the sunrise when you get off of your shift and then go to bed or take a nap outside, that's where I would start. At least see the sunrise. But honestly, it makes the whole system backwards. It's like,
Mhm.
you know, it's a really challenge. That's probably, I'll work with cancer and epilepsy and the hardest things in the world to work with, and have much more success than if somebody's a night shift worker. It's a really challenging one.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I'm glad you're telling us all these things because if you're someone that works the night shift, I think it just gives you an idea of where you are, and maybe not now, but in the future, it's not ideal to work the night shift forever because it does and it will cause long-term situations like you're gonna get sick from something just
Yeah.
because, as you mentioned, the circadian rhythm is not working properly, and that's what helps us to wake up, go to bed, the hormones and all that. So it's like a whole thing. So, I mean, we're not telling you to quit your job, not right now, but just think about the things that you want, and I think it just gives people an idea of like, okay, how do I want my life to look in 5 years
Yeah.
if I keep working the night shift? And as I mentioned, there's some people that were so grateful they worked the night shift because someone has to do it. But if eventually you can actually not do that, it'll be for your higher self, for your better on everything on your body. So that's also there's some good news, I guess. So that's awesome. And you mentioned some like really big diseases that we have heard before, as cancer and
Yeah.
epilepsy and all that. How does that work with those patients? Your clients. How do you work with them?
With with like the chronic conditions and sunlight.
Right.
Um, well, honestly, I extend the amount of time they're in each step. And I'll encourage them to be out for 30 minutes to an hour in each step.
Mm.
Um, that's one huge thing that I do. And if they're wearing sunglasses or sunscreen before they work with me, then uh, I get them off of that, just to stop doing that. Because when you put a dark lens over your eyes and you're outside in natural sunlight, um, your circadian biology, all of your hormones, all of your metabolic signals, they are able to function when light penetrates in through your retina, and it stimulates all these other chemical, hormonal, metabolic signals in your brain. So when we put sunglasses on, the dark tint, it signals to the brain, hey, whoa, wait a minute, sunset is coming, get ready, stop cortisol, start flooding melatonin. And so something as simple as that we've just taken on as a culture can mess up your hormones. So literally just discontinuing that practice to wear sunglasses um, is can be really helpful. So I teach them how to do that and encourage them to be in sunrise light for 30 minutes to an hour. And then when they do that, if they have especially if they're more fair skinned, they have a higher susceptibility to sunburns if they were just to go out in the afternoon. They literally won't burn. And so then they'll be absorbing all the UVB light. So those are two of the main points I've really emphasized when working with someone with a chronic condition. Epilepsy is huge with regard to watching the sunrise.
Mm.
That can be really helpful. And for people who struggle with seizure disorder, epilepsy, really mitigating artificial light, especially after dark, can be like astoundingly helpful. So that for that population, I mean, I recommend that for everyone, but especially for that population, that can be drastic with regard to reducing the amount of epileptic fits that they experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just one more question, because I'm gonna be like, this is all about me. So I mean, I use, and I don't know, as you say, maybe the culture, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I use sunglasses like
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So are you saying not use sunglasses at all, or just during certain time of the day?
So I will say there's one time where somebody should wear sunglasses. And that is you're on top of a ski slope and you're going to go down the ski slope and the snow is going to reflect very
Reflect.
strongly into your eyes, that could actually be health damaging. There's been a lot of studies on how that's damaging to the retina and to
Mhm.
the eyes. If you're not on top, and when you get to the bottom, take the sunglasses off. If that's not your situation, you should save your money on sunglasses and literally like don't wear them. I wore
Really?
never. That's like the never wear sunglasses because you're blocking the whole eye clock.
Right.
Then
Right.
the eye has no signal as to it has no idea what time it is. And then depending on the color of the light outside in the sun, that tells your body what time it is. Oh, there's only red and blue. This must be sunrise. Here comes UVA. This must be in the morning. And different hormones are released at those times of the day. If you put the lens on, the dark lens on, even if you're outside in UVB light,
Mhm.
your body will not make vitamin D.
Gosh.
Your body
Ah,
won't make vitamin D.
gosh.
Yeah.
I'm
And
heartbroken.
yeah, I know. So a lot of people are like, well, what do I do? I can't look at the sun. I might like my eyes are sensitive. What am I supposed to do? When you see the sunrise and the more you go outside, the less photosensitive your eyes will be. It's literally just like taking your eyes to the gym. Um, you just have to retrain them because they've just been atrophied from being under indoor lighting or in front of a screen. And so you literally just have to retrain your eyes. And starting with sunrise, you'll be shocked if you do it for like the Sunlight RX for even a week. You'll notice your photophobia probably like goes away and you won't have to squint anymore when you go outside.
Right. That's me. I feel like a vampire every time.
Yeah.
Every time I go out, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't see the light. Wow, that's such a shocker, and I'm heartbroken because I have like 30 million pairs.
I
But
know.
it's something important to know, and now when you know better, you do better. So whoever
Yeah.
is listening, sorry. It's over. Like there's you can't tell us we didn't tell you.
It's
And
a
I felt
game
the same
changer.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally the only glasses you should wear with a lens are your blue blockers if you're in front of a screen. Like I
Which I
make my
do,
computer
yes.
screen red and I make my phone screen red. If you don't know how to do that, which you can just put in a simple YouTube and it'll teach you how, but
Right.
um, wear blue blockers on your screen when you're in front of the screen. And that's the only time we should be wearing like a type of colored lens over our
Lens.
eyes, really.
Okay, and we'll go with that sad note. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was all the information. It was great, and I'm so happy. You were telling us everything. I'm so happy I met you. You are super
Likewise.
cool. And for anyone that is listening, if they want to find you or talk to you or have any other questions about this very important topic, where can they find you?
So let's see. You can go to on social media. You can go to my Instagram, sunlight_RX. And if you want to get a copy of the Sunlight RX, you can go to my site, heathershepard.com. My name's spelled very strangely. It's HeatharShepard. You can go there
Yes.
and get a copy of the Sunlight RX ebook and literally start practicing as soon as the next sunrise. Um, and I also have a podcast called The Primal Pioneer, and I have a lot of episodes there that teach people about how to use the sun and how to use diet and homeopathy to heal their body as well. So you can check that out as well.
Awesome. And I will put all that in the show notes for anybody that wants to reach out to Heather. This is great information, and I'm sure everybody has a lot of questions still. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, you can always find me at alexvalga.com. You can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Remember, my book is out, so you can find it on Amazon and Barnes Noble. It's called Parents Are Greatest Teachers. If you want to DM me and tell me how you feel about it, any notes, please do that. Thank you, Heather, again for being here today, and thank you for everyone to listen. And
Absolutely.
have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.